Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmerced.com, and what I want to do is talk about kindness and messaging 101. The point of this video is to kind of explain why sort of the kindness relationship building approach is important to when you want to communicate very, complex and important ideas. Because as a libertarian, a lot of what makes me passionately libertarian is the technical stuff, the economic arguments, the moral arguments, the philosophical arguments. A lot of this sort of deep in the weed stuff animates me. So then once upon a time, my first approach would be somebody's like, well, are you familiar with a marginal utility and the non-aggression principle, blah, blah. The problem is we take for granted what we've learned. Most of us who are libertarians may have had one spark in one issue that got us interested in reading more. So maybe it was anti-war, maybe it was anti-prohibition. Something kind of brought you and exposed you to people who had these ideas. You read more, you got more into it, and eventually you kind of fully embraced libertarian ideals. But then what happens is that over time you forget what it took for you to get there. So then it frustrates you when you communicate with others and you say, I believe this, why don't you? So there's an element of humility that's required when you approach people. But at the same time, people don't just listen to you because you have a good argument. There's a lot of things that are going to affect whether they listen to you, whether they get anything from you, etc. And that's kind of what this audio is going to be about. It's going to be about the importance of relationship building, because what people's opinion of you is going to affect what their opinion is of what you say. Okay, you can probably think of people who you think are utter jerks. They're mean. You just don't like them. And you probably have found yourself, if you're honest with yourself, at points having in a conversation with them, finding the need to find the holes in what they're saying. And even if in the end you may have agreed with them, you probably went out of your way to try to find something wrong with what they're saying more aggressively than probably someone you like. Because if someone you like, you're going to give them the benefit of the doubt a little bit more. You're going to be more willing to accept what they say and not necessarily question assertions and stuff like that, which makes it much easier for them to communicate with you what they want to say. So point is, people can listen to logical and technical arguments, but their opinion of you is going to affect them. Okay, and this is why it's important to build relationship with people, because once you win over their heart, they'll open up their mind. But oftentimes, especially when it comes to libertarianism, it's not just that they need to like you. There's their life experiences that inform their skepticism of free people, okay, because they grew up and someone might have screwed them over, and now they just are skeptical of people in general. So there's scar tissue you have to heal. So the libertarian, to kind of get the libertarian message across, there is an element of healing, helping them come to terms with the bad things that have happened to them, and that requires you to be empathetic, compassionate, to not be overly dismissive of the problems in their life and be like, I'm sorry these things happened to you, I'm here for you, whatnot. Because once they trust you, once they realize that they have someone they can rely on in you, that allows them to let that scar tissue to heal and restore their sort of trust in humanity and individuals and individualism, where those arguments can be a lot more plausible, make a lot more sense. So you need to build a relationship, but realize there's an extra burden of healing that is required to sort of really kind of nail down that sort of libertarian mantra on somebody. And then third, the realization that people have been socialized to be polarized, because that's the nature of politics. Because in politics, all I need to do is win the election, which means for a moment in time, I need to be able to convince 51% of the people participating to hate the other 49%. Okay, if I try to get them to all get along, I'm probably not going to get 50% of people to agree with me in a moment. So what I need to do is say, hey, if you don't vote for me, this 49% is they're going to take control and they're going to do things you don't like. So it's all about sort of driving dislike of each other, just driving distrust, skepticism, cynicism in order to win an election. So elections are won on fear, or they're won on polarization, and that's one of the problems with political solutions. That in order to enact them, you have to win elections, and in order to win elections, you oftentimes have to polarize people, which create new problems. While when you have libertarian solutions, which are based on individuals voluntarily cooperating with each other, it does require consensus. It does require us getting along, not necessarily for a moment, but over time. And that teaches us how to get along better, because we have to. If I'm not guaranteed a house, if I'm not guaranteed food, then I'm going to need to rely on others. And those relationships, that community that I build with others is going to be that much more important. Me having to care about what other people think becomes that much more important. And if we all care about the relationships we have with each other more, you're going to have a much more sort of bonded society and closer society. So there is a depolarization effect when it comes to sort of non-political solutions versus electoral solutions. So these are the kind of ideas we need to get across. Okay, first you got to build that relationship, and then after building that relationship, communicate the empathy and compassion to heal, and communicate the polarization and depolarization between political and voluntary solutions. So that way people can sort of see the heart of libertarianism, so that way they can buy into the mind of libertarianism. So that's what I wanted to share today. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day and enjoy. Again, if you guys enjoy what I do, head over to alexmerced.com, where you can learn and find many more things that I've produced, and any support that you'd be willing to give in helping me continue to do the work that I do. Head over to donate.alexmerced.com, where you can subscribe to the Patreon and several other ways that you can contribute. It's always appreciated. Make sure to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, subscribe to my podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and you guys have a great day and enjoy.